very good year-end, period-end checklists in the help system in Sage. So when you're in Sage, if you just go to help topics, and I'm going to go do an index search and just do a search on period end, you'll see there's a number of options that come up. And if we go down to accounts receivable period end processing, this is a real good overview of kind of like what the process does. So use period end processing to automatically perform either period end or year end based on the current period. We talked about that. It closes the current period and it increments it to the next period. And then temporary customers are cleaned up. This is some of the data retention stuff that happens. So the data is automatically, purged on your history retention settings. So these help screens are very helpful in determining like what's going to happen module by module when you run those period end processes. So they're available for all the modules. And then one other thing I wanted to show you, because we were talking about data cleanup and history retention. If I go into accounts receivable and accounts receivable options, and each of the modules will have this as well, is we've got a history tab. And you can see these are some of the history retention settings that I was talking about. Number of years to retain cash receipts history, 99. Years to retain customer history, or years to retain salesperson history. So what happens is when you run the year-end process, it looks at these history retention settings to determine how much data we've got in the system, and it'll purge the data up and through that retention setting that we've got. So before you run a year-end process, and that customer I was referring to earlier that hadn't run a year-end since 2017, we reviewed the history retention settings with them just to make sure that they weren't purging data that they actually wanted to maintain in the system. And so you want to do a quick overview of those if you haven't run your year-end process for a while, just to make sure you're not purging something that you want to keep in the system.